The Radium Girls, a luminous tragedy of the jazz age. Step back in time to the roaring 20s, an era of flapper dresses, jazz music, and unprecedented scientific optimism. But beneath the shimmering surface of this golden age lurked a dark secret, a tale of betrayal and corporate greed that would forever change the landscape of workers' rights. This is the story of the Radium Girls, young women whose pursuit of the American dream led them down a path of unimaginable suffering. Delve into the scientific fervor surrounding radium in the early 20th century. Discovered in 1898 by Marie and Pierre Curie, this radioactive element was hailed as a miracle substance, a source of boundless energy and potential cures. The scientific community, still in its infancy in understanding radioactivity, was captivated by its unique properties. Radium's mesmerizing glow and perceived curative powers fueled a wave of public fascination. It was touted as a panacea for a wide range of ailments from arthritis to cancer. This led to its incorporation into numerous consumer products, including cosmetics, tonics, and even toothpaste. Companies marketed radium as a revitalizing agent, promising to restore youthfulness and vitality. The public, eager to embrace the latest scientific advancements, readily accepted these claims without question. The lack of comprehensive understanding regarding radioactivity's harmful effects allowed for widespread and unregulated use of radium. Scientists and manufacturers alike were largely unaware of the long-term consequences of exposure. This ignorance, coupled with the element's perceived benefits, created a dangerous environment where profit outweighed caution. Explore the lives of the young women who found employment as radium dial painters. These women, often teenagers and young adults, were drawn to the well-paying jobs offered by companies like the United States Radium Corporation. The work involved painting watch dials with luminous radium paint, a task that required precision and skill. The process of painting these dials involved a technique known as lip pointing. To maintain a fine point on their paintbrushes, the women would lick the brush, dip it in the radium paint, and then apply it to the watch dial. This seemingly innocuous action resulted in the daily ingestion of radium. The women were encouraged to use this technique by their supervisors, who assured them that the paint was harmless. The work was considered glamorous and desirable, offering these young women a chance to earn a good wage and contribute to their family's income. They were unaware of the insidious danger lurking within the glowing paint they handled every day. The companies, driven by profit, prioritized production over the safety of their employees. Uncover the tragic story of Molly Maggia, one of the first Radium Girls to succumb to the devastating effects of radium poisoning. Molly's ordeal began with a persistent toothache, a seemingly minor ailment that would soon escalate into a nightmare. Despite multiple extractions, the pain persisted, and the extraction sites developed painful, pus-filled ulcers that refused to heal. The mysterious malady spread rapidly, attacking Molly's jaw and causing it to disintegrate. She suffered from severe anemia, bone fractures, and excruciating pain. Doctors were baffled by her condition, initially misdiagnosing her with syphilis. The true cause of her suffering remained a mystery until it was too late. Molly Maggia's death in 1922 marked a turning point in the Radium Girls' story. Her case served as a grim warning of the dangers of radium exposure, but it was largely ignored by the companies and the medical community. Her suffering and death would eventually become a catalyst for change, sparking a fight for justice that would resonate for decades to come. Meet Grace Fryer, a determined and courageous radium girl who played a pivotal role in the fight for justice. Grace, like her colleagues, had suffered severe health problems as a result of her exposure to radium. She experienced bone pain, anemia, and the disintegration of her jaw. Despite her own suffering, Grace was determined to hold the companies accountable for their negligence. Grace Fryer, alongside several other Radium Girls, decided to sue the United States Radium Corporation. Their lawsuit was a landmark case, one of the first instances of workers suing their employer for occupational health hazards. The case faced numerous obstacles, including the company's attempts to discredit the women and deny any connection between their illnesses and radium exposure. The Radium Girls' legal battle was a David versus Goliath struggle against powerful corporate interests. They faced skepticism from the medical community, resistance from the legal system, and the daunting task of proving that their illnesses were directly caused by their work. Despite these challenges, they persevered, driven by a desire to seek justice for themselves and prevent future tragedies. Delve into the scientific explanation of how radium poisoning affected the Radium Girls' bodies. Radium, being chemically similar to calcium, was readily absorbed into their bones. Once inside the bones, the radium emitted constant radiation, destroying bone tissue and disrupting the body's natural processes. The continuous exposure to radiation led to a range of debilitating health problems. Anemia, a condition characterized by a deficiency of red blood cells, was common among the Radium Girls. Bone fractures, often occurring spontaneously, were another hallmark of radium poisoning. The most gruesome symptom was radium jaw, a condition in which the jawbone disintegrated, causing excruciating pain and disfigurement. The Radium Girls' suffering was a direct result of the company's negligence and their failure to provide adequate safety measures. The companies were aware of the potential dangers of radium, but they chose to prioritize profit over the health and well-being of their employees. This callous disregard for human life would eventually be exposed and condemned. Examine the legal challenges faced by the Radium Girls as they sought justice in the courts. Their lawsuit against the United States Radium Corporation was a groundbreaking case, but it was met with fierce resistance from the companies. The companies employed a variety of tactics to delay and discredit the women's claims. The companies argued that there was no scientific evidence linking the women's illnesses to radium exposure. They hired their own experts to testify that the women's symptoms were caused by other factors, such as syphilis or poor hygiene. They also attempted to portray the women as unreliable and hysterical. The Radium Girls faced an uphill battle in the courtroom. They were up against powerful corporate interests with deep pockets and a vested interest in protecting their reputation. Despite these challenges, they refused to back down, determined to hold the companies accountable for their actions. Explore the outcome of the Radium Girls' legal battle and its lasting impact on workers' rights and occupational safety. While the Radium Girls did not receive a substantial financial settlement, their case had a profound impact on the legal and scientific landscape. The case brought widespread attention to the dangers of radium exposure and the importance of worker safety. The Radium Girls case led to the establishment of stricter regulations regarding the use of radioactive materials in the workplace. It also paved the way for future lawsuits involving occupational health hazards. The case served as a precedent for holding companies accountable for the health and safety of their employees. The Radium Girls' legacy extends far beyond the courtroom. Their story has become a symbol of courage, resilience, and the fight for justice. They are remembered as pioneers who stood up against corporate greed and fought for the rights of workers everywhere. Reflect on the enduring legacy of the Radium Girls and the lessons we can learn from their tragic story. The Radium Girls story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked scientific optimism and the importance of prioritizing human health and safety over profit. It highlights the need for rigorous testing and regulation of new technologies and substances. The Radium Girls story also underscores the importance of workers' rights and the need for strong labor laws to protect employees from exploitation and hazardous working conditions. It reminds us that companies have a moral and legal obligation to ensure the safety of their workers. The Radium Girls story is a testament to the power of courage and determination in the face of adversity. Their fight for justice inspired generations of workers to stand up for their rights and demand safe working conditions. Their legacy continues to inspire us to fight for a more just and equitable world. The story of the Radium Girls is a powerful reminder of the human cost of scientific progress and corporate greed. Their suffering should not be forgotten. We must remember their names and honor their legacy by advocating for workers' rights, promoting occupational safety and demanding accountability from corporations. Learn more about the Radium Girls and their story. Share their story with others to raise awareness about the importance of workers' rights and occupational safety. Support organizations that advocate for workers' rights and promote safe working conditions. Demand that companies prioritize the health and safety of their employees over profit. By taking these actions, we can ensure that the Radium Girls' sacrifice was not in vain and that their legacy continues to inspire us to fight for a more just and equitable world.